The first Patches wasn't from Demon Souls, nor was he from Armored Core for answer. Patches actually debuted in the PlayStation 2 era, some 5 years before the Armored Core game. I'm going to talk about both, but if you need the answer now, then skip to here. Spoilers, obviously. Here's the thing. I can't find any video that talks about Patches' true origin. No one seems to have realised, or the people that do know about the first Patches are trapped within YouTube comments and haven't made videos themselves. With the exception of the stolen Battenberg, who touches briefly on our fickle friend. So who is Patches? He hardly needs an introduction, but to summarise, he is one cheeky chappy. Ardent Souls fans will tell you he first appears in Demon Souls. One of the places you can find him is the Shrine of Storms, where he entices the player to look down into a hole and see some treasure. Getting near the hole locks you into a cutscene upon which Patches the Hyena, as he's known, unceremoniously boots you into said hole. His plan is that you'll starve to death in there so he can pilfer your remains and sell whatever he finds. There are variations on this theme in every appearance of our friend. Good old trusty Patches, Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne, where he just so happens to be a spider, and finally Dark Souls 3. He's really given the fanbase an arse kicking over the years. As for Elden Ring, I haven't finished it yet. What I offer to you is that the first Patches is encountered in Shadow Tower Abyss. PS2, 2003, Japan only. I'm playing an English fan patch. Get it? Patch? In the fourth area of the tower, the HR Giga themed Scouring Rush, there's a man on a treasure chest. The second of only 2 humans you can meet in the tower. He seems to be in a desperate situation, unarmed. Let's make a note of what he says. I had friends, but everyone died. Most of the dialogue is cryptic hints about the area that don't really help. Beware the one guarding the door. Nope, I don't remember anyone or anything guarding a door, or what could work as a door. Now, this is a fan translation, so I'm not 100% confident in its accuracy. Eventually, he asks for a favour. Have you seen any... So, this is the unit of currency in the Shadow Tower games, which I will not even attempt to pronounce. He wants 5 monies, but we never find out what he intends to buy. Okay, let's give him the cash. Oh my god, stop! In return, this unnamed man gives us a key to a treasure room. What could go wrong? We're greeted by a grisly sight. Most of the chests have been ransacked already. The ground is littered with corpses, old and new, one of whom seems to have written a message with his own blood. He's crazy. He thinks everyone is an enemy. One of the chests hasn't been looted yet, and the player is usually desperate for any loot, unless it's the endgame. Let's open this bad boy up.
What the fuck?
Jeez, that explosion hit you for about 1200 damage. I was lucky to survive. It's likely in this game that you'll be walking around at low health due to the scarcity of healing items and how repair mechanics work. This is probably the most brutal Patches trap there's ever been. Having survived the blast, I go to exact my revenge on our devious friend, but he's gone, and the chest he was sitting on is empty. I think of this NPC as Patches' in all but name. Here, go for this treasure. Oops, you're dead! And look, don't those kind of look like Patches on his knees? No? Okay. If that doesn't convince you, maybe the next encounter will. Upon entering a new area, you see him. Will you take revenge, or believe his overtures of peace? I'll give you a map of the area ahead if you don't kill me. How about it? Well, okay, it's water under the bridge. Tricked once again, we're dumped in the water with hostile creatures ready to attack. Patches reveals his intentions. He, like everybody else, is questing for the spear. What spear? I don't know. Nowhere else have we seen somebody pull a lever and make the player fall off a bridge. This interaction was already covered by the stolen Battenberg, who shows us exactly what to do in this situation. Nice shot. Even in death he's annoying. If you shoot him before stepping onto the bridge, he still hits the switch, meaning you've got no choice but to drop down to progress. So assuming you leave Patchy Boy alive, you won't see him again until the next floor in the tower, in the red dust area. He gets so close to finding the precious spear. Around the corner from this great prize, we find him dead. That's it. There's no loot on him, no more dialogue, just lying there face down, kind of undignified. After seeing to the area boss, we head back out to find waifu / potential dominatrix demon, Rohanych, standing over our hero's corpse. She has only one line for old Patchy: a fool bewitched by the power of the spear. We know this because if Patches dies earlier, she won't say this line. There is beef between the two characters. After finishing the first floor, you can meet Rohanych before heading up, before your first meeting with Patches. She desires a favour. Yes, anything, my queen. Is it me? She implores you to kill a man who stole her stuff. It took me 2 playthroughs and making this video to realise who she means is none other than Patches himself. He is, after all, the only human left alive, other than ourselves. However, in the early game, you don't know that. The only way you could find out is by administering some frontier justice. Plonk. The chest contains nothing, and he has no loot on him other than this comically large thingamy. Cursed longing. The water bridge is out by default now too. The item does nothing, so I head back to Rohanych, find the perfect angle, and return what's hers. Our reward is not great. A soul pod. It increases 5 of our stat points. That would be massive in a Souls game, but in Shadow Tower it's just okay. So ends the story of our de facto Patches. But let's talk about the other theory, and the mech pilot that bears his name. In Armored Core, for answer, there's a mission called Defeat Unknown Next, and No Count. You're tasked by Interior Union to destroy 2 mechs and their pilots, who are occupying a junction. Next is the type of mech, which is a giant fighting robot, but you knew that. No Count is the name of the mech, and the pilot, Patch, the good luck. And look at his emblem. A dice riddled with bullet holes so that every side shows a 6. That cheating bastard. If you take out Patch's accomplice first, and possibly damage No Count a bit, he'll give up.
Wait, I give up! Hey, I'm just following orders here. If he's pulled out, why should I? You guys, you're still alive, right? This is No Count, come in! We're allies, right? Right? Oh, this guy's crazy. Pretty impressive stuff.
Confirmed. All targets destroyed.
Is that the last of them? I think we've both had enough of these guys. Well, we're still alive. Good enough for me.
This is not the only time where a guy called Patch will fight you, and very quickly surrender. You can also fight him as an arena battle, which pits you in straight up mech versus mech action instead of missions. Supposedly, he's a bit of a pushover and prefers long-range weapons, laser and sniper rifles, and missiles. Similar to how in Souls he favours a spear for its reach and hides behind a great shield. According to the Armored Core wiki, he's known as Patch, not Patches, in the Japanese and therefore original release of Souls games. Let's run Patch through a translator.
Patchy. Patchy.
Patchy. So that's a loan word in Japanese? You can easily see how a translator might take the Japanese text, see patchi, and choose to render it as patches in English. Patch the Good Luck shares a Japanese voice actor with Patches the Spider and, Patches in the Demon's Souls remake. I'm not sure how much credence to give this, but if we take the wiki at their word, the name no count is actually a borrowed English phrase used in Japanese to denote something that didn't count, as in a bet or an action that did not count. While the US version mistranslates Patch's plea for ceasefire as an identifying call,
You guys, you're still alive, right? This is no count, come in!
the Japanese line was actually, I might have fought you, but you didn't die, so it doesn't count. So, a plea to spare his life. But apparently in the Japanese versions of Souls games, he often includes the phrase no count, i.e. after trying to trap and kill you, he'll say something like, you didn't die, so it no count.
Down then. Well, why didn't you tell me sooner? All's well that ends well.
I can't end the video without an honourable mention. This was brought to my attention by Kingsfield Discorder Nikki Vava. Armored Core Master of Arena was the third Armored Core game and a sequel to Armored Core 1. One of the NPC pilots you can battle in said arena is known as Patch. His mech's called Parsec? So this footage is the NPC, right? It's not two players doing PvP online via Parsec, is it? Anyway, it's hard to gauge much of Patch's character from this fight. All we have to go on is the description from the game that says his personality changes dramatically upon entering the arena. That's not enough for me to say he's the same Patch as, really, but it's cool to know the first reference to anyone called Patch was back in 1999. Well, there you have it. What do you think? Do you think these two examples count as early Patches appearances? And what about the unnamed Patches in Shadow Tower Abyss? Do you believe me? Or does this one no count for you? If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, touch my bell. If you want to support the channel, you can share this with any FromSoft fan who might be interested, or check out my challenge runs. Another Shadow Tower video is currently in the works.
We'll meet again someday soon.